This meeting is being recorded.
Carol Capwan, thank you so much for joining me.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. The reason I wanted to get you on is because you'd emailed me to say that you had been abducted by aliens, and you know that I have a very keen interest in the Anunnaki, and you shared some information with me, and I thought the subscribers might want to hear more about your story.
Yeah, no problem. First of all, what I would like to address to the your audience, yeah, that's sorry in advance for my English because it's not my native language.
Better than my Polish.
Yeah, well, I suppose. But despite for using it for many years, I still found it unnatural for me. So my pronouncing and I will still keep doing mistakes, but regardless of that, yes. So the story of my abduction is really brief, and some people might find out that is nothing special, or might even think it's a fairy tale. Yeah, but you know, one night I just woke up and I was feeling that I'm laying on some straight surface, ice cold, probably some metal or something or stone, I don't know. Yeah, and I was tied to it. Yeah, I was paralyzed, so I couldn't move. I could only, move my eyes, nothing else from my body. Yeah, there was a bright light on top of me, uh, similar to what you see in some movies when they're doing surgery or something.
Yeah.
Yeah? But it wasn't that. It was bright, but it didn't blind my eyes. Yeah, and I spotted there was four of them, four grays. Looks like that, like they are pictured in the movies. Being honest with you, with that bald gray heads with the big black eyes, and by the facial mimics, I could see that they was really surprised that I woke up. Yeah, that's I could tell that they was surprised that how this happened. It shouldn't be happening. Yeah,
Mm.
so I see how they was surprised and confused, like what the hell is going on with him. Yeah, and that's it. That's the memory from it. Yeah, and then next thing, I wake up in my bed and it was already around 10 o'clock a.m. Yeah, so I
What
was
what time would you normally get up? I mean, had you
I,
been out for a long time?
at the time I was studying on university, so roughly I will be up around 7 8 a.m. and I woke up at 10. I didn't went to lectures that day. I overslept, and when I wake up, I was full of anger. Yeah, because I had that memory. Yeah, and I was angry, like what the hell just happened. Yeah, because
Yeah.
previously in my life I had some episodes of losing time. Yeah, and it was like
Oh,
I lost, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and I was just thinking like, oh, that's strange. But I was trying to explain that to myself, like I had too many things in my head, like I'm worrying about something, or is or I'm overthinking some problem too much, or something like that. Yeah, but then after that episode, I start thinking if that was correlated, by I cannot be sure about that. That's just my theory that it might be somehow connected. Maybe no. Yeah. So this thing uh, put me on the path of kind of like obsession about the gray aliens. Yeah, because I knew it that wasn't a dream or something, like that wasn't a hallucinations as well. I knew it that this happened for real, and I start researching, but most of the stuff that I was finding in internet over the gray aliens was there was some truth to that, but most of the stuff was, I had the internal feeling, like feeling in my guts that there is most of it is some BS story, yeah.
Right.
Or there is something in it to manipulate us, especially that a lot of movies and stuff was packed with the aliens and everything, all the different stories, yeah. So I knew it, that's not really the way to find out the truth about that, yeah. And at that time I already was practicing out of body experiences for many years, so I start using that, yeah, to find out who the gray aliens are and where they come from, or what's happening, why they take me, and for what purpose, to find out anything, yeah.
Sorry, Carol.
Yeah.
What made you start doing this? What did you wake up one morning and think that you were going, you wanted to experience perhaps being in a different dimension or seeing if you could access other realms? How old were you and what compelled you to start doing this?
Well, okay. So we will have to go to my childhood. So since a little kid, I had, probably because of my genealogy tree, bit more I was a bit more open to paranormal stuff than a regular person, because since a kid I was seeing things that other people didn't see. You can describe that as ghost, or it's some paranormal stuff. But the thing is that probably before I had put a lot of programming on me by the school, religion, society, it's everything. I was decoding the wider band of frequency we lived in, yeah. So that the reason I was seeing more things. And for a kid, when I was a kid, it was scary, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, yeah. So most of the time at night, when I spotted some things, walking around the house, or coming at night to try to scare me or something, I was just closing my eyes and strongly thinking, like, just go away, yeah. And then one thing happened after my granddad passed away, because when he passed away, I was at school that time, yeah. And when after that, at night time, something was poking me in my body,
Oh,
yeah.
while you're in bed.
Yeah, while
Yeah.
I was in bed, yeah. And on the first 2 nights I was scared, yeah. So I didn't open my eyes, I was just thinking, just go away, yeah. And it did go away, yeah. And on the third night it happened again. And when I started to thinking that, oh, this thing is not going away, yeah. So I need to see it, what it wants, what it is, what I mean, yeah. And I didn't feel like negative energy around, yeah. So that was different than some other experiences that I had, yeah. So when I look at it, yeah, I saw my granddad, yeah, and he just smiled, and that's it, and disappeared, yeah. And he probably come to say goodbye, yeah, on his way out of this simulation, yeah. So that thing opened my eyes that not everything, that I don't need to be scared about that stuff, yeah. I can explore that, yeah, and not everything will come to try to scare me or something, yeah. So that's opened my eye to that, and put me on the path to start learning about that and speaking with my parents. And my parents are open-minded. Well, my dad was, because unfortunately passed away recently, but my mom still is open-minded. And
I'm sorry to hear that. And you said that was
thank you.
recently.
Well, year ago, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you. But it's part of life, unfortunately.
It is, yeah.
None of us will be here forever. Well, and then I start, researching slowly. As a kid, I didn't have, that much opportunity like I have, for example, now. Yeah. But slowly I was hearing the stories at home, speaking with my parents, and reading strange books from library that I didn't even tell anyone that what I'm reading, because as a kid, you don't want to be bollocked for something that, oh, that's not stuff for you, kid, or something like that. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was always had the mind of a kind of rebel. And then that's put me on the path of reading about the astral projection, out of body experiences, rediscovering your subconsciousness mind, and all of that stuff. And in the age of 13, I had my first out of body experience. Yeah. And it was really brief. Yeah, because I had the feeling like whole body is vibrating. Yeah. And then suddenly I'm looking at my body laying on the bed. Yeah. And I'm thinking like, oh, what the hell is going on? And first thing that came to my mind was my dad. And then instantly I'm looking at my dad laying in the bed. Yeah. And I was like, what the hell is going on? Yeah. And then bang, I'm in church. Yeah. And I was thinking like, whoa, what's going on? And that being in church really scared me. Yeah. And next thing I woke up. Yeah. And I was like, what the hell that was? Yeah. So I start, going through it, researching about what was that experience. Yeah. And then I find out that was I had the spontaneous out of body experience. Yeah. But I didn't, that time I didn't know exactly what it was. Yeah. So then I start, reading about the techniques, how to do it. Yeah. And slowly I developed my own way to do it. Yeah. Because most of the teachings I was founding, that was full with some kind of even small but rituals. Yeah. And I find out over the years that any ritual, yeah, is no good for us, yeah, because it's draining us from energy, yeah, and that's the purpose of every single ritual. And that's it. That was the what put me on that path of exploring out of body experiences, and practicing that over the years to have some results from it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so are we going back to the?
Carry on. Now,
yeah.
carry on. I just wanted to know how you
Yeah,
had started doing this, and how.
That's briefly the beginning of how I started. Yeah, and
And
what put me on that path. Yeah.
and you clearly weren't after, the first few attempts. You clearly weren't scared of this. You were embracing it.
Well, the first one finished really briefly because being in church scared me.
Yeah.
I never liked it that church and religion, but that's different part of the story. Yeah, we can come to that maybe later on if time will allow us. Yeah. Because all that, by the way, all the religions and science, which is an atheist religion, is to control us. It's made to control us, and it's bad for us. We should, finally understand. Doesn't matter if someone is Christian, Muslim, or Buddhist, or whatever, yeah, or strictly believing in science, yeah. It will need to keep asking question why. And after every answer, keep asking this question why till you get to the source. And then you will find out that every single one of the religions, science, how it is at the moment, yeah, it was, developed to control us.
Do
but
you think that was always the case, or do you think that this is more of a recent thing? Because from my research, different civilizations didn't act the way this one does, where they are controlling absolutely everything, and a lot of information suppressed, especially with science, medicine in particular. Do you think that previous civilizations were perhaps less like they are now, and
yeah,
more?
I actually do, because I'm Polish, yeah, and if you look at the religion, what they call that, ancestors of Slavs were pagans, yeah, that they had many gods or something. But really, if you will go deep enough into it, yeah, their religion was actually better than any other existing now, yeah, because they didn't believe in many gods, yeah, because there is a totem of Światowid, which is symbolizing four faces at the same time looking in the every direction of the world. And they didn't use the temples. There was no Slavic temples in the hundreds of years ago, and they was putting that totems on the energetic points of our planet. And that was symbolizing that the source, God, whatever you're gonna call it, yeah, is one and is looking everywhere at the same time, yeah, is present everywhere, and you don't need temple to get connected to him, yeah, because you are connected with him all the time, yeah, and they get the all them Peruns, which is same thing as Thor and other ones, as a patrons for that beliefs, like to worship the elements of the nature, yeah, like thanking for lightnings, for rain, for sun, but they didn't actually consider them as gods, yeah. But Christianity had to twist that to conquer this Slavic pagans,
Yeah.
But that's a really deep rabbit hole. So going back to gray aliens, that we start with that. So when I start using out of body experiences to find out who they are, where they come from, what they want, and get any information to calm my mind about what to try to explain somehow what happened to me and why. I was going out of body with the intention to find out about that, yeah, about them, yeah. And on the beginning, when I started going out, yeah, I was spotting people looks like human but bigger than us, and I was like thinking like, okay, I went somewhere, but that's not the case, yeah, that's not what I'm looking for, yeah. So then I spot another humanoids, same size as them, bigger than humans, with elongated skulls, and I was thinking again, that's not what I'm looking for, yeah.
What were they dressed like?
Well, what they dressed, yeah, there was well, what I saw it, yeah, trousers, some kind of how it's called in English, like a blazer, and some of them was with the how it's called coat, like
Right.
to the knees,
Right.
just up to the knees, yeah. And that was probably I don't know if that separated the hierarchy or importance or whatever, or
Right.
just fashion, whatever they like. I have no clue, but that's how they look, and that's how to describe that. The material, it looks like some kind of made like uniform, because you can see when you see, for example, police officer or ambulance worker, yeah, you can see the material is different than everyday clothes, what people wearing, yeah, it's like a part of uniform. And
Yeah, sure.
they had some material like that, but it was like with something to it, like I don't know, metal inside it, because it was reflecting the light a bit, yeah.
Right.
So I don't know from what was that how I saw it, how what they was wearing. But and then I was thinking like, that's not what I'm looking for, yeah. I'm looking for a gray aliens, yeah. I want to see them, yeah. And I on the way to finally spot the gray aliens, I was seeing that, and I was keep getting upset, like it's I'm keep pushing hard, honestly, to to find some information, and I'm going not where my intention goes. Yeah, but I was unaware that my intention get me exactly to what I was looking for. But the gray aliens at that time when I was seeing them didn't look like they looking now. Yeah,
Right. In what way?
because they looked really similar to us. They were just bigger, yeah, bigger in size. And that first humanoids that I spotted, there was exactly race of Igigi, enslaved by Anunnaki. That's the ones with the elongated skulls, and they was bring here by Anunnaki to Earth. Yeah, and then after that. Well, and Igigi was used to mine the resources from the
Yeah.
planets. Yeah,
Hmm.
so they develop underground community. Yeah, they just develop underground whole network of cities and everything in our planets. Yeah, and they was growing in numbers to stood against the Anunnaki and free themselves from enslavement. Yeah, and when they was doing that, which take them approximately, what my theory is about, hundreds of years or thousands even of years, because I cannot say exactly how the timeline looks from the getting the brief information from out of body experiences. Yeah, you cannot put them directly in the timelines to have that
Sure.
I saw this piece and this piece, and between them is, for example, 500 years. It's not possible to determine how much time passed if you don't
Sure.
have any,
You got no
uh,
reference point.
exactly. Yeah. So you can put them in order, but you don't know exactly how much time passed. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or you will have to gather really many of these reference points to have the some, grasp of how much time that was. Yeah.
Sure.
And at that time when they was developing that underground community, when they looked similar to us but they was just physically bigger and stronger physically, they was experimenting on humans, yeah,
Hmm.
Anunnaki. And from what I saw during my experiences, yeah, they didn't create us as humans. They was altering existing humans on this planet. So we wasn't created by Anunnaki, we was just altered. The previous civilization was wiped out by them when they come in, and they just kept some of us for studying.
Are we referring to these previous, um, the previous civilization as the Neanderthals?
Uh, well, I suppose we can. I don't know what they was called, and
Well, that
what.
would tie in because there is a missing link between the Neanderthal and the Homo sapien. I mean, you've got is it the Cro-Magnon? So you've got that kind of, you've still got that missing period.
Okay, to being honest with you, I didn't connect these dots before. Yes, so
I
but
just wondered if you knew what the previous civilization was, because if it was the Neanderthals, then that aligns perfectly with Zachariah Sitchin's work and what
yeah,
people like
but
Billy Carson, have researched.
the thing is that it's hard to say in my opinion because
Sure.
they might be Neanderthals, but Neanderthals they might be one of the generation of people, humans going out from the first test of Anunnaki when they was
Yes,
altering
of
our
course.
ancestors.
Yeah.
So it's hard.
Version one.
For example, yeah. So it's hard
Mm.
to say, yeah, because they was trying to not develop another race of slaves for themselves because they already had Igigi, and they was really strong physically. They was perfect for mining resources and for being builders and everything. Yeah, so they didn't need another slaves. Yeah, so why they was studying us? because they find out that our ancestors, before our DNA was locked by them, because there is one genome or gene in the DNA sequence that was capped
Yeah, it's
in
fused. Yeah.
us. Yeah, and they find out that despite that they are now, at the moment when they came in, they was most advanced technologically than our ancestors on this planet. Yeah, but in the biological side of this biological computer we call body, we was most developed than them, more developed than them, because we had the ability to, in the one lifetime, which was around 1,000 years before, we had enough time to grow and develop ourselves spiritually, to just we live the simulation, just beat the game and live the game without before our body ceased to function. Yeah, and that was something that pissed them off. That how some primitive in their eyes race can be more advanced than them. Yeah, no, that's we need to wipe them out, and if there is actually anything in them better than in us, we need to extract that. Yeah, so that was the reason what I find out why they was experimenting on us and trying to extract that from DNA, not the other way around, to turn us to the slaves. Yeah, and they was trying to do that but unsuccessful, because when they was altering us with our DNA, they was the outcome was a humanoid but was unable to reproduce. Yeah, so that's no good. Yeah, so there is no use of that kind of test subjects. You cannot study them because they all gonna die. Yeah, and when Enki was, I later on find out uh, uh, that guy from Anunnaki that was carrying on that research, all the texts refer to him as Enki, alter us that way, that he just capped one genome that is responsible for our cell regeneration process. So that's the reason he shortened our lifespan from around 1,000 years to roughly 120. And that lifespan was that short lifespan was good for them, because then we're not gonna develop, because we're not gonna have enough time to fully develop and become a threat to them, and then they can easily study us. Yeah, and at that time when they was taking the time to do that, the population of Igigi grow what they was thinking to enough number to stood against the oppression from Anunnaki, and they start rebellion. Yeah? Unfortunately, Anunnaki beat them, defeat them, and that wasn't the first rebellion that the proud race of Igigi was, starting. So when they spotted that, okay, we got another race here that we can easily now turn to slaves. Yeah. So with Igigi, they really physically strong. They are a threat. Yeah, and that was close. That last rebellion. So we need to finish with that. Yeah, because there is too much risk involved in that. From what I found out. Yeah. So they altered them genetically to keep them underground, to don't come to the surface. Yeah. So they turned them to what we see now as a gray aliens. Yeah. So they alter their skin that they cannot come to the surface because the sunlight is killing them. It's just burning them to the death. Yeah.
Right.
And they was kept under the ground. Yeah. So they couldn't live because, well, they could live enter the surface at the night time. Yeah.
So how did this actually take place? You said that they altered they altered their DNA, changed the
Yeah,
color of their skin. How did they achieve that?
from what I saw, there was some kind of bioweapon. Yeah,
Right.
that they spread to them. Yeah, because there was a lot of what, how to describe to you. It was like a war zone full of strange looking clouds, like a mist over the surface of the earth. Yeah,
Hmm.
so it looks like spreading some kind of bioweapons. Yeah, like if you will spreading some kind of chemicals or whatever it could be. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my, I cannot say for sure that was
Sure.
done this
No,
way,
that's.
but by the look of it, yeah,
Hmm.
as I spotted, yeah, it looks like this way. And when you have one race of humanoids looking similar to us but just bigger in size, and they living underground because there was Anunnaki slaves, and they later on in the same place you got the race of grays, when they look completely different, but they live in the same space. That's, so they replace what. There is two options: or Igigi disappear magically, and the gray aliens show up exactly in the same spot, or one of them was turned to the other. Yeah.
Right.
So that's what I come with, the conclusion that they was just turned to the gray aliens. Yeah, because I was, when you're using out of body experience, yeah, and you're going somewhere with the intention, it gets you directly there. Yeah, so if you're gonna think about the Egypt pyramids in Egypt, yeah,
Hmm.
instantly in instant you're gonna be there. Yeah, looking at that pyramids in Egypt. Yeah, so that the reason, if you go with the intention about the gray aliens and you're seeing that stuff, that's out of body experience is using that you're traveling as a soul. Yeah, not
Yeah.
as a, so your soul is not lying to you. You're just asking to go there, and you're there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that the reason how I find out that it got to be somehow connected, and that's the only way that I can come up with as a connection. Yeah, when they was altering them through some kind of bioweapon or stuff like that. Yeah, and also when you look at the story of many civilization in our planet, yeah, every single civilization have the story about the vampires. When they was living underground, scared of sunlight, sunlight is burning them, yeah, and drinking blood to survive, yeah, from living creatures, yeah, and
Yeah.
all the attacks by vampires was always happening at the nighttime, because they obviously scared of the daylight, yeah, sunlight.
Yeah.
So when it's when you knew that they had the whole network of cities and tunnels under the surface, under every single continent. And then every nation had a story like that in some folklore or
Yes,
mythology
they
or
do.
somewhere.
Hmm.
Yeah. I don't believe in coincidences, being honest with
No.
you. Yeah.
No.
So there have to be something to it. Yeah. I'm not saying that I know it all, because nobody knows, but we need to keep digging this to
Mm.
find some more connections to where exactly is the whole truth about that. Yeah, and when they was altered, what I find out also, that there's gray aliens as we see it now, which are really the Igigi race, enslaved by Anunnaki, roughly about uh, probably 250,000 years ago. Yeah, if we believing to the Sumerian tablets, what they was
Yes.
describing. Yeah, because they was giving I think 240,000 years of the rulers. Yeah. So it might be even more than that. Yeah. So when they was altered, they was also capped on reproducing. Yeah. So that they couldn't reproduce. Yeah. So they was just left there to die. So eventually, every single one of you, yeah, gonna just die from the old age, and that's it. Yeah. And so then they was obviously developing some technology from reverse engineering the stuff that they was able to stole from Anunnaki, and they developed its their own AI, the Igigi, when they become the gray aliens. Yeah. And what I find out that they, to survive, to be able to survive, they merge with AI, so that the reason they all of them come up with some kind of hive mind. So every single one of them is connected with the main AI computer. Yeah. And when your body ceased to function, died, you're not gonna die. Yeah. Because your mind, your consciousness is still connected with the AI. So we can just clone another body and upload you to that body, and there you go. Yeah. So you kind of like hybrid now, not biological entity, but half and half. You can live forever, but you are trapped in this reality forever as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a tragedy for them as a race, because they trap themselves, or maybe with some deception or trickery from Anunnaki, from their oppressors. Who knows what's really behind it? Yeah. But that's their outcome, what I find out. Yeah. And that's, when I was finding out this as a loose pieces of information on the beginning, it didn't have much sense. Yeah. And then when I start going through the Billy Carson research, yeah, this opened my eyes really wide. Yeah. Because when I started going through, I was able to put my experiences, what I saw, yeah, into what he was describing in his research. Yeah. And that was eye-opening for me. So I said, like, oh, I didn't see some nonsense. Yeah. I just saw it, for example, this fragment that he's describing, yeah, that he was, uncoding from the translating of tablets, or, or his other research. Yeah. And that the reason is, I start to, it all started making sense for me, and I was able to put all of that together to have the like a broader view on that what was happening. Yeah.
Sure. So what you're saying then, basically, as far as you're concerned, from what you saw, the Igigi became the Greys.
Yeah.
The Greys have now become AI.
Yeah, they merge their consciousness with AI to survive. Yeah. And they are all like bees. Yeah. In hive mind.
Hive mind, yeah.
So
Which
that
is where they want ultimately us to get to with the Neuralink, for example.
exactly. And when I look at that, yeah, and then I look at some stories about Roswell, for example. Yeah, you got the UFO crash. Yeah, you got allegedly meetings of some government officials from USA with gray aliens and all of that. And then boom, you got the electronic technology, going to the surface. Yeah, and we got start first computers and all of that, and that's developing really quickly. Yeah. Then they introducing us to AI here to get used to that. Yeah. And Neuralink and everything to get us hooked to that. Yeah. And I saw that as not a coincidence. Yeah. Because when they are hooked to that, yeah, they find out that when your mind is connected to the hive mind, you're losing ability of any spiritual development. That's it. It's blocked. Yeah. Because you can do it as an individual. Yeah. But in the hive
Yeah.
mind, you are not going to be able to calm your mind to use out of body experience, for example. Yeah. So then they have a problem with humankind awakening process. Yeah, because that's ripping simulation apart. Yeah, in the current state. So what's the best way to stop this? Yeah, let's stop whole awakening process. Yeah?
Right.
The best way is to put humanity into hive mind, and that's it. Problem solved. Yeah. And then what's gonna be solution for us? Because if we're gonna be connected to the hive mind, you won't be able to disconnect by yourself. Yeah, from it. You're not gonna be able to separate your mind from it because you're gonna be merged. So then we will have to commit like group suicide as all humankind. Yeah, and that's not gonna be possible because some people will say that's the only way forward, and then other will say no, I wanna live. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, if you will commit a suicide, yeah, that will throw you straight into the karma wheel. So you will end up back here anyway, just as an individual, yeah. And then you will have to
Do you
go
believe that
and
then? Do you believe that if you end your life, then you have to come back?
yeah. That's I was researching this subject as well because of all of that out of body experiences, how this simulation work, because it's I'm 99.9% sure we are in simulation, and it got what we seen on this everyday life is physical part of simulation, and then we got astral, which is really wide. Yeah. And when we're using astral projection, out of body experience, that doesn't matter which part we're using, yeah, we're still going to the astral. Yeah. And we cannot go outside of simulation. The only one thing that allow us to go outside of simulation is out of body experience. We'll have to practice, develop our skill in it, and then we will be able to go out. But that's one-way trip. You will leave the game, and then if you will want to come back here to tell somebody about how it is outside the simulation, yeah, you're not gonna be able, because when you come in here, you're losing your memories. You start point blank, as they say,
Yeah.
not knowing anything, and you need to grow from nothing. Yeah. So any story about some spiritual guides, spiritual mentors, angels, demons, whatever, they all the same, yeah. And nobody went outside. Not how to say that. Nobody left the simulation and come back to tell us how it is up there. Yeah, that's just not possible. Yeah, and I truly believe that, because all evidence show that when you practicing that yourself. Yeah, because you can go and to the different part of our simulation. Yeah, using out of body experience to even to the different planet, different worlds, different dimensions, whatever people want to call it. Yeah, and you can have interaction with different beings, but they still in the same simulation we are. Yeah, just a different part of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we are just one lush farm here. Yeah. There is plenty of lush farms across our simulation. We are not the only one. Yeah, that's for sure. I can tell.
Who are we a Loosh Farm for?
What I'm thinking, yeah, what's my theory, that's the simulation was hijacked by some beings that get addicted to the game and didn't want to leave. Because what I find out how this whole thing works, yeah, we got the physical reality where we start, and we are connected with the astral dimension as well. So every time we go sleep, when we dreaming or we using lucid dreaming, for example, we are in astral space. Yeah? And when we're using obviously astral travel, we in astral space as well. When we're using out of body experience, when we start that and we leave the body, we are in our physical realm. because when you start, you can see your body laying on the bed, yeah, or in the armchair, wherever you just started out of body experience, and then you can go to astral, yeah. You can, use out of body experience to go wherever you like, yeah. But that's still in boundaries of our simulation, yeah. The universe is massive, but it's still a simulation, all of it.
So what would be the case with a clone? Would a clone
With clone,
operate?
no, because you don't have soul in a clone, yeah. It's from what I find out and what I believe, that when you got the our body is a vessel for our soul, yeah.
Yeah.
And our body is in soul, not other way around, because the soul is much bigger, and we got our biofield coming from the heart and all of it. So that's our soul, yeah. And our soul is in uh, uh, our soul is a fragment of our spirit, yeah. So you got when you coming to that to this game, you're starting in one place, yeah, which was of your choice or no, if you were thrown from karma wheel, yeah. But you're starting somewhere, and then you're developing, which is one of your timeline, yeah, to the moment where you make a first choice that will differ you to will split your realities. When you make a choice, I go left or I go right, and that was a really significant choice that split your reality. That's where your spirit is defragmented to two souls, and you carry on into timelines, yeah. And
Right.
that's keep happening, yeah, till all of your souls, yeah, gonna lose their bodies, yeah, and gonna go back to spirit. And then when spirit will get all its fragments as a souls back in him, then is able to leave the simulation. That's how I see this whole things work, yeah. uh,
That's taking quite a lot of events,
yeah,
isn't it, to
but
actually
it
complete
when
it?
but when you look from our perspective, yeah, because we are we're looking from the time perspective, yeah, because the time flows, yeah, we are aging and all of that, yeah. So then, and we see the past events, stories, all of that, so we're seeing time as some boundary, yeah, that we cannot escape time, yeah.
Sure.
But time exists in simulation, yeah, and it exists here in astral. You don't have time, because if you go to astral, yeah, using for example out of body experience, you can witness, for example, your granddad whole life in one night, yeah. You will go for a nap, be napping 1 hour, and in out of body experience you can relive whole your granddad's life. So there is no time in the astral. So and soul is eternal, yeah. Soul and spirit, and spirit is a part of the source, God, whatever you want to call it, yeah. Because everyone's spirit is at the same time part of the source and whole source as well, yeah. So there is some truth in the saying that God split for countless pieces and is experiencing life all at once in everyone's at
Right.
once, yeah. There
Yeah.
is something to it. I don't know from where that come from which religion, but some of the religion texts are well, they had to bring some truth, because otherwise if there will be all lie, nobody will follow any religion, yeah. There got to be some truth hidden in it, yeah, but it's twisted, yeah. Well, so I'm looking at the time, so we got
So what you're saying then is If religion is fundamentally different to what it was originally, how it first started, we were talking earlier on about paganism,
Mhm.
and before that, if we are in a simulation, is there a God?
Uh, well, it depends on what you consider a god. Yeah.
Yes, so in the sense of a divine spirit. I'm not talking about a creator because people create things every day.
Yeah,
And if there's
exactly.
something of far higher intelligence than us, and far more technologically
Mhm.
advanced than we are, then they could create
Mhm.
this simulation. It doesn't make them a god
Yeah,
as we would
exactly.
use that word, but it makes them appear godlike to us
Uh,
mere
so
mortals.
what I consider as a god, yeah, is that uh, mm, how to describe it? It's like a complete awareness, full awareness of or the great consciousness. Yeah. So there is uh, that's the thing that all it is. Yeah. And everything else, including our simulation, is inside it. Yeah. So when we look, our simulation is built on dualism. Yeah. Because you got the light and darkness, good and evil, and all of that, but that exists only here in this simulation. Yeah. And outside of the simulation, yeah, there is literally nothing and everything. Yeah.
Yeah,
At once. Yeah. That's the God. Yeah. And every single spirit is a part of it, and at the same time, it's a tiny part of that all there is, and all there is at the same time. Yeah, I know it's
yeah,
hard to imagine that, but all it is have sense. Yeah, when you putting all the dots together, yeah, I don't think anything else might make much sense on how this work, and especially that when you look at the going when you go through all the near-death experiences, all the stories, how the people died and come back to life, and when you're using out-of-body experience and going to astral and seeing how it is there, yeah, and interact with the beings being there, yeah. Uh, what I find out that our simulation got the two safety switches, yeah. So in human form, in physical reality where we are now, yeah. Uh, we are bound by rules. Yeah, like, well, I'm not gonna describe it because everyone knows how it is. Yeah, that's where we live in. Yeah, and then when you die, your next stop after death is astral. You're not going far away. You just ending up in the astral. Yeah, and there they wanna turn you back here. Yeah, to keep you in the loop. Yeah, so depending on your belief system, yeah, if you are a religious person, you're gonna meet. If you're a Christian, you're gonna meet Jesus or someone from there. If you're Muslim, you're gonna meet, I don't know, Muhammad, Allah, or whatever, yeah, and so on, yeah. And if you're gonna be atheist, yeah, you're gonna see the, I don't know, Tesla, Einstein, someone from there that was your idol from the science world, yeah. So they're trying to hook you, or they're gonna show you, I don't know, your dad, your mom, your grandparents, yeah, your brother, whatever, yeah, someone that's close to you to just trick you. Oh, there is a tunnel with light, or I will take you to heaven, or I will take you somewhere. And if you're gonna agree to them, doesn't matter they lying to you, yeah, they will take you back and you back here, yeah, born again, losing all memories, and there you go, keep going again, yeah.
this sounds very similar to the role that the archons play in Gnosticism, where they're gatekeepers and they have the ability to send us back. Or if we answer questions in a certain way and say that we are one, God is us, we are God, we are the sons of God, blah blah blah. I can't remember
Mhm.
the exact questions that you're asked, but Jesus shared them, and it sounds very similar, like an almost a test before
Yeah,
you can
uh,
ascend.
yeah, but that's another very nice you mentioned that, because doesn't matter who you're gonna meet in the astral plane, yeah. they are part of simulation as well.
Mm.
And they want to trick you to keep you here. Yeah. You don't need anyone permission to go away from that. Yeah. And you are actually more powerful than them. Yeah. Because they stuck in the astral for a long time. Yeah. So there is I will explain the safety switch, because when you go to the astral, when you're living in the physical realm, yeah, you're not losing your energy because you are hooked to the body that is, like, hooked to this realm. Yeah, so you can try during your experience, you can explore some part of astral, and then you're going back to the body. Yeah, but when your body ceases to exist, you have the limited amount of energy with you, so you're using that energy as a fuel. And you if you don't have the memory that you are eternal being and you cannot die, yeah, and you in astral, you're gonna feel like you're dying because your energy is depleting. And when your energy depletes, it will kick you out of some simulation. Yeah, so that's the safety switch, to don't stay here. Yeah, because you come here to get some experiences, to have fun, whatever. Yeah, in this game, your avatar, your body cease to exist. Yeah, so then, okay, have a look, have a last go, think whatever, if you done it right or wrong, whatever you want to do, and then bang, out of here. Yeah, but then some entities that was addicted to this simulation, that's my opinion, that's my theory, yeah, find out how to walk around that safety switch. Yeah, so when they was around people with let's say high frequency, they find out that's depleting their energy really fast, so it's quicker kicking them out of astral, of simulation. Yeah, but when they was around people with low frequency energy, they could harness that energy and refill their own energy, which allowed them to stay here longer. That's the reason they spreading fear and all of that. And that's exactly how the Lush theory works. Yeah, because that they wanna spread fear, low vibration energy, to harness that, and that allow them to stay in the astral dimension, to be here in that simulation.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah, and there is also second safety switch, but I see that we over the time, so it's up to you.
No, what? Yeah, well, you can't leave people in suspense. You're going to have to tell us what the second one is now.
Yeah, so it's with second one, that's a funny one, because recently David Icke make a video, and he was saying opposite stuff to what I'm gonna say now. Yeah, so I'm agreeing on almost everything that David's publish as his research, because he's a legend in that. But in that one bit, I don't agree, because recently he said that they, as a global cult, whoever is controlling the simulation, and through that's what he call as gophers from global cult doing, they don't need to tell us what they're gonna do to us, yeah, in physical reality. Yeah, and I think that they do, and that the reason they doing that through the symbolism and all of that. Yeah, because if you are in the physical reality, yeah, and one person is affecting another one, yeah, there is a clash of free wills. Because, for example, yeah, if I will force you to go from here to the, I don't know, next room, yeah, I'm affecting your free will, because I'm forcing you to do something, and that's gonna lower my frequency, my energy. Yeah, because I'm forcing other free will and being to do something that is against that free will. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we are in the bodies, yeah. So our energy is unlimited, because we are hooked in this physical reality. We're gonna feel bad for a while, and then okay, it's gonna go back to normal, depending how much you're affecting and how many other free wills. Yeah, because if someone is like some criminal is running around shooting people, yeah, his frequency will go down, yeah, because he's hurting other people with free will, and he's not
Yeah.
gonna be able to rebuild from that because he just caused too much damage to other beings, yeah. But when you in the astral only, you are not hooked in this reality, but you are staying only in astral because you don't want to leave the simulation. If you're not gonna inform me what you're gonna do to me, or and you're gonna do it something, it will bring you a really high energy cost. So it's not worth it for you because that will kick you out of simulation. But if you will come to me as a being from astral and tell to me that, oh, listen, mate, yeah, I'm gonna be scaring you every night, sending you horrors through your dreams, whatever, to keep you constantly in the fear state, and I'm gonna consume your energy, and I'm gonna say, oh, all right, whatever, mate, yeah. So then I agree, yeah. Or if I'm gonna ignore that information from the being and say like, oh, I don't care, yeah, I still agree to it, yeah, because I need to deny him. I need to say to him, no, no, I don't agree with that, yeah. You cannot do that to me. I'm not allowing you. And if I'm gonna say no, that's it, yeah. If he will
Yeah.
still wanna do it, that will give him a massive energy cost, yeah. But if I'm gonna just ignore it, which is a passive acceptance, or I'm gonna just consciously accept that, yeah, like, oh, okay, whatever, I cannot change the world, yeah. That's what we are told through the kids, yeah, like, oh, whatever you're gonna do, you cannot change the world, yeah. You need to
Yeah.
just accept it, yeah.
Yeah, we're always told that. Yeah.
Yeah, and when you are blindly accepting that they can do whatever they want
Mm.
and it don't cost them energy, yeah, and they are like parasite there, yeah, because
Yes.
without us they cannot stay in the astral dimension. They can stay there for a short while and back off, yeah. And
So
we
if, sorry.
no, and I was just saying, we just keep feeding them
Mm.
with passively accepting what they telling they're gonna do it to us, yeah. Because everything what's happening, yeah, like for example, let's say COVID pandemic, yeah, they was writing about that behind the lines, and even on the World Economic Forum and WHO websites since 2014, and then they start playing that in 2019, 5 years later, yeah.
Yeah.
So everyone was informed. Doesn't matter if you didn't read it, yeah, and didn't find out that, or nobody told you, that didn't change anything because the information was available for you. So
Yes.
if you want, you
Mm.
could get informed because we inform you. You just didn't get the information. Yeah.
So what we're talking about here, which is something I believe in, is revelation of method. They're having to show us what they're doing.
Yeah.
We might miss it, we might dismiss
It's
it as fiction, but they
yeah,
are showing us.
but that's the thing that the beings that have physical bodies, doesn't matter if they're humans, aliens, whatever they are, they don't have to tell us anything. Yeah. But the entities from astral, that they forcing their agenda through that global cult gophers and everything, and everyone from that, they need to tell us. So that's the reason that they keep showing us or telling us through movies, through some symbolism, through all of that, what's gonna happen. Yeah, because other way, they masters from astral, yeah, will lose energy if they will do something that they didn't inform us before. And honestly, it looks like that because every single thing is happening. If you will carefully look, yeah, it's been shown to humankind somewhere through the
Mm.
books, through symbolism, through movies, through radio, whatever. Yeah, it was always showed before.
Yes, I agree. And a long
Always.
time earlier. Look at
Ex-
H.G. Wells and Jules Verne. I think there's a
yeah,
lot
for
there.
example, yeah.
So you've obviously told us what happened to the Igigi. They become the Greys, and ultimately they become AI. Are you saying there are no Greys here right now? It is just AI.
No, they are here. Yeah, they are they still living underneath of our planet and
Right,
probably on the bottom of oceans as well. Yeah,
but
because
they're controlling the AI.
uh, well, they got their own AI, and
Hmm.
probably that's what the global cult is using. Yeah.
So where do the parasites, as I refer to them, the people running everything, running the show, the puppet masters, where do they fit into this? Are they reporting directly to the Greys?
Uh, I I think they reporting directly to that beings from astral. Being honest with you, same last. And what I'm thinking that they and actually the heads of global cult that we probably never gonna spot it by face or name walking among us on this planet. Yeah, they controlling Grace now as well. Yeah, with their AI. Yeah, because the beings from astral got the full control over what's happening here. They don't have full control over every individual, but global. It's a global theater. Yeah, they're doing whatever they want. Yeah, starting war here, ending war there, starting another one here, starting pandemic. They're doing whatever they want to spread fear and keep us in that low vibration state. And
And
now there is a massive movement to stop awakening process. Yeah,
yes, yes, you can
because
see that.
a lot of people are starting awakening process. And sorry, I know we're going over time. Yeah, but there is one more thing I really want to mention. Yeah, because that's really sad, because there is many channels on YouTube, on other portals, with people spreading awakening stuff. Yeah, like, oh, I find out this, I find out that. Yeah, and and most of them are honestly hijacked. I don't know if intentionally or not, but when I'm spotting any doesn't matter channel or portal, and someone is saying that he's helping people to awaken or whatever. Yeah, and he's monetizing some breeding techniques or stuff like that, that's a red flag for me. It's saying like, come on, man. Yeah, if breathing is for free, yeah, and if you know some techniques how to breathe, yeah, and have some positive effect for certain things, yeah, just sit down, make a half an hour YouTube video and spread it to the whole world. Someone might need help. Yeah, but if you're doing some program for £100 or whatever amount of money, yeah, that, yeah, you will subscribe, you will pay me, and I will show you all the techniques, you're fake. Yeah, and there is so many of them, and that's really sad. Yeah, and lot of people saying like, yeah, I'm going using astral projection, astral travel, remote viewing, whatever, out of body experience, meeting that spiritual guides and something they teaching me, I will teach you, and but you need to first pay me. Yeah, that's all of BS as well. Yeah, I'm saying like, out of body experience is really simple. Yeah, other time I can explain it how to achieve it. You need to be just self-determined and patient and keep practicing, and that's it. That there is nothing, you don't need any rituals, no, no setup or something. Yeah,
I
there is
think
a
though that we live in a world now where people look at time very differently, and I think the pandemic compounded this problem further. We expect things to be immediate, so there will be people that want to learn how to do this, but won't want to put the time in. And time is always the factor, isn't it? So they'll
well,
probably try and shortcut it, pay someone to teach them to do it so they can do it quicker, but you don't end up with the same
but
knowledge and the same journey, do you?
it's not gonna work that way. Yeah, because if you're gonna have teacher or no, you still need about same amount of practice. Yeah,
Mm,
to achieve the goal. Yeah, so someone might find out that, all right, going to the teacher will help me to self-discipline myself, to keep doing that regularly and practicing
mm.
every day. Yeah, but that's the only one difference I can see, because
Yes, yeah, and I guess some people are going to be charging a lot of money, aren't they? You can
oh,
see
they
that.
are, if you will go through that, that's ridiculous. Yeah, I'm saying like to don't get me wrong, because there are some people that, for example, they doing the trauma healing and other stuff, yeah, and obviously, yeah, they spending a lot of resources and time, and when they doing that to someone to help him heal, yeah, that's cost them a lot of time and effort, yeah. So
Yeah.
fair enough that they charging money for it, yeah. But I'm saying like charging money for some guides how about breathing techniques, or about the techniques that you can describe in 10 minutes about how to achieve out of body experience, yeah, it's ridiculous, yeah, in my opinion, yeah. And that's giving me a red flags, like what you're trying to achieve here. You're just trying to exploit some people that are unaware of stuff, yeah, to earn money on them, yeah. So I just want to add that, because that's pissing me off when I'm spotting that online, yeah.
So, who do you think is running everything? Who is right at the very top? What is ultimately in control
Of our simulation.
of everything, of it all, everything?
Well, of simulation, there is some twisted spirit, twisted consciousness, or group of them that are addicted to the simulation and didn't want to leave. They come here to get the experience, and they get addicted, and they want to stay here forever. That there is they
Yeah.
keep farming energy as a lush, yeah, what would we describe as lush, to keep staying here, yeah.
Yeah, no, I understand that. Obviously, we
Mhm.
spoke about that earlier, but who put those there? Who created these entities? What is ultimately, do you think, what is the source?
Well, the source is it's all there is. Great awareness. You can call that God. You can call that source. Yeah, it's depend on how you see it. Honestly, yeah, because that doesn't matter how you're gonna name it. Yeah, it's in my opinion, it have no name, because we naming thing here in simulation, but outside of it, yeah,
Yeah.
it's probably something that we cannot even imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard it
So
referred to as the pre-existent one,
yeah,
and I quite
yeah,
like that.
that's a good one. Yeah,
Yeah, I quite
because
like that.
I don't think we can describe something that is beyond our you know capability
Comprehension.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Just one thing before you go, Carol. I'm noticing in the background a game. It looks like a game.
Yeah,
Error.
it's a error resistance. Yeah, so me and my brother, we develop a game. It's a small board game, because in everyday life we are overstimulated with the screens, smartphones, computers, a lot of people working from home from computers, and we find out that a lot of people are turning to the board games to
Oh, so
have
it's a
a
board game.
bit of relief
Right.
from the digital world, and spend time with family and friends. Yeah, so this is a small game from 1 to 4 people. Yeah, that will take you the one playthrough is gonna take you from 20 to 40 minutes, depend how it goes. Yeah, and the story is that you got the resistance that is built from orcs, elves, humans, and dwarves,
Right.
and the enemy is an arch intelligence. So it's a bad AI that took over the planet and took over the other people, yeah, through the nanotechnology and neural links, and turned them to zombie AIs. Yeah, so
Yeah,
so
the zombie virus.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, so you are in the small group of resistant agents trying to find your way through the zombie AI units and beat the general of arch intelligence. Yeah, so it's a
Right.
small fun game with lot of tactics thinking. Yeah, and you got four
Keeps you off
different.
the screen as well, doesn't it? Keeps you away from the screen for a bit.
Exactly, yeah, and it's a cooperative game, so you need to, that's a lot of fun when you're seeing, yeah. When I saw the playtests by other people, when you have group of 4 people, loudly discussing and talking, oh, what we gonna do, what. So you bring we with this game we bring in also that mindset that we need to work together as a
But
people, as a group, yeah. not rivalize with each other. Yeah, we need to
Where
just work together and beat the game. Yeah.
sorry, where do you sell them? Is it
Uh,
like
we,
online or something,
we
or Amazon or
is on a crowdfunding portal called GameFound. Yeah, I will leave you a
Game
link.
what? Sorry, Game
GameFound. It's a
Game Found.
it's a crowdfunding platform.
Right. Okay.
So we just start the project, yeah, and you can see the preview. I can leave you a link that if you would like.
Yeah.
I will
Yeah.
be
I wouldn't
glad if
mind
you
having
will
a
leave
look
in
at
the
that.
description. If someone is interested, then if we will get enough followers to start the campaign, hopefully very soon we will start the campaign, and then if campaign will get founded, that then we will be start producing and selling the game. But we will see
We
how it go. Yeah.
We'd have to let us know how you get on with that. And if you, and if you get your crowdfunding and it's out, then you'll have to come back on. Because
Yeah, with pleasure.
I'm a bit sort of old school. My wife and I, we play Monopoly. Um, it used to be called the Landlord's Game years ago,
Oh, okay.
and we play Scrabble and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Uh,
because it's every one of us needs some kind of entertainment. Yeah.
yeah,
And if you working in the office, for example, and you looking the screen 8 hours every day or 10 hours every day, yeah, you don't want to watch a movie from the screen. You want to do something that's off the screen, to have a
yeah.
bit of relief. Yeah,
And
and
I think it's like books as well.
yeah,
Well,
exactly.
if you think about how we live now, I don't know if you've seen this going around, but people keep talking about us having a blackout, and I've heard it ranging from 8 days to 10 days, where they're going to literally shut everything off. Well, that leaves us with books and board
Mhm.
games, doesn't it? You're not
Yeah,
going to be able to
exactly.
get online, are you? If there's no
Yeah.
power, there's going to be no signal, whether you're looking at 4G, 5G, or
Mhm.
Wi-Fi. You're going to lose all of that. You're going to have no electricity to watch your TV or
Mhm.
anything, and no signal being broadcasted anyway. So, what have you got left? And it does worry me that a lot of people don't print their photos off anymore. They don't buy vinyl.
Mhm. Mhm.
Everything's in the cloud. They switch it off. We lose the lot. And I think having some books, having some vinyl,
Mhm.
maybe some sort of battery operated, record player, just a cheap one, um, and board games and things like that. And obviously,
Yeah, exactly. Huh?
we got food to consider. Obviously, tin food and things that keep for a long
Yeah.
time, like right. But I think for entertainment, we're so used to going online and being able to get quick fixes, quick dopamine fixes.
Yeah.
Our brain's instantly going to notice a
Mhm.
lack of what's the word? We're not going to be engaging in anything and to the same extent that interaction's going to go.
Yeah,
We
and
we need stimulation.
you know what I find out that the more people are hooked to that, especially social media stuff these days, yeah, they losing that patience, yeah, and they
Mm,
can't focus on one task for very long, yeah,
mm,
and that's very alarming because you need patience and focusing on one task if you want to develop spiritually. Yeah, if you want to
mm.
practice, doesn't matter, lucid dreaming, out of body experience, projection, astral travel, you need these two things: patience and focusing on one thing. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
and we are guided exactly opposite direction. Yeah, so that the
Mm.
reason I have the clear mind about that it's not happening by accident. Yeah,
No, I agree.
that they putting us into direction that it's all lovely. It will make you superhuman. Yeah, you're gonna have computer in your head. Yeah, all of that. Yeah, but you're gonna lose your identity. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're gonna just
yeah.
become one of you're gonna become worker of the hive. Yeah, and that's it.
Yes, yes, you do. It's the hive mind. That's what they want. Well, thank you so much, Carol, for giving up
Well,
your
thank you for
time.
having me.
It's a pleasure,
That
and
was a pleasure speaking with you, like always.
thank you. And we'll have to let us know how you get on with the game, and perhaps come back on when it's out there, so you can maybe give us a demonstration or something.
Yeah, with pleasure. Yeah. Or
All right.
if some people will want, we can talk again. Is let's see
Brilliant.
what's gonna happen. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And thanks so much for sharing your journey, your story,
Yeah, no
and
problem.
your knowledge. But thanks, Carol, once again, and we'll see you again soon.
Lovely. Thank you. See you soon.
Bye for now.
Bye.